Well, that was Hillary Clinton slamming Wells Fargo and Donald Trump while making her pitch to strengthen the economy. But are her policies really the best way to get there? Joining me now, David Morey, Brad Thomas, and Adam Goodman. Brad, let me start with you. You've written a book on Donald Trump and his business experience. A lot of brouhaha out there about his tax returns. But overall, when we talk about distinct economic messages, these two candidates couldn't be any further apart.
Yes, you're absolutely correct. I mean, Donald Trump is running on a business ticket. He happens to know a little bit about corporate finance, and I think that's really the big message for him. I mean, the average voter today is the average Joe who's looking to understand, this president and how he has been successful in his business operations. Obviously, the tax return, Charles, has been a big issue coming out over the weekend with the New York Times. But I think, again, if you look at it and understand the implications of what that one page of tax return gives us, it gives us absolutely nothing.
Well, I get that, but here's the thing, though, Adam. You're a GOP strategist. From a GOP strategist point of view, I heard Donald Trump speaking a moment ago, saying, "Listen, I took advantage of his system. It was my obligation, in fact, to take advantage of it," and saying essentially he is the only one equipped to actually fix this behemoth of a tax policy, which I think is 77,000 pages or something like that.
Well, look at it this way, Charles. Who would you rather have take on the IRS between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump? I think you want to see Trump, and I think he gets probably a lot of undeserved credit, perhaps, for being there, and I think the tax situation plays right into it. But your initial question was all about whether or not Secretary Clinton has maybe the right message in terms of our economy. What she advocated today, Charles, was we should sue more people. More people should sue more often in a lawsuit-consumed nation. It's classic class warfare, rich versus the poor, powerful versus the powerless. But it's very rich coming from Secretary Clinton, who was a very big proponent of the 2,300 pages of Dodd-Frank, which has made the big banks bigger, put small banks out of business at the rate of one a day, and created that little thing called the CFPB that has taken on business all across America. Without accountability. Right. The last thing we need, Charles, the last thing we need right now is someone taking on American business as opposed to getting behind business to create jobs and resuscitating an economy.
Here's the thing, though, David. I mean, I think on one hand you have people who understand the economy and who are business people. Then you have people who understand winning elections. Politics of envy won the last two presidential elections. Now, I think Adam brings up a great point. Is Hillary Clinton really the right person to talk about this, considering how much money she's gotten from Wall Street and even her foundation from Wells Fargo? And B, should the country risk this sort of policy, considering how lackluster our recovery has been?
Well, I think it's going to be, Charles, about temperament. You want a CEO with the right temperament. The economic policies are in some ways less important than the sort of demeanor, the leadership sort of steadiness that you see vis-a-vis the debates. This is about focus. Trump needs to focus on change and corruption to win, but he's gotten distracted over the last week on Miss Universe and other tangential issues. Warren Buffett supports Hillary Clinton, a pretty good businessman. There's a good case that Hillary Clinton can make about business, but I submit to you that it comes back to politics.
Well, okay, Brad, before I get back to the political guys, on the economic side, again, for me, what I'm reading, and it seems crystal clear, and I'm surprised more folks aren't picking up on this, is that President Obama began constructing a welfare utopia, not unlike those that we've seen in Europe. They're expensive. You can't get it anymore. You can't get any more blood out of the rock of the individual. They've got to find a way to get this cash from corporate America, and I think Hillary's making her pitch.
Yeah, I think you're right, but I think, to the point, I think that the biggest message today, and I think this is really critical, and I heard this in church yesterday when my pastor said transparency means trust. And I think what I see today, Charles, is that over the next 35 or so days, I think the candidate who can provide the voters with the most transparency, the most absolute transparency, that's going to be the winning candidate, in my view. And I think whether it's the tax returns or whether it's the emails, I think transparency is going to be the fundamental differentiator for this election.